Guys, welcome to the channel. Without fucking, let's go to more videos, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Seahawks DT Leonard Williams, named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. After a second straight dominant performance, Seahawks defensive lineman was named NFC Defensive Player of the Week on Wednesday. A week ago, Leonard Williams was happy for his teammate, Kobe Bryant, after the safety was named NFC Defensive Player of the Week, but the veteran defensive lineman also felt like he was snubbed, having not won the award himself following a standout performance in the Seahawks' Week 12 win over the Cardinals. On Wednesday, following another dominant outing, Williams was not denied for a second time, taking home NFC Defensive Player of the Week for his performance in Sunday's win over the Jets. Like Bryant the week before him, Williams earned Player of the Week honors in part for returning an interception for a touchdown, going 92 yards down the sideline after picking off Aaron Rodgers to score the first touchdown of his NFL career. But that play, impressive as it was only part of another great game for Williams, who also had a pair of sacks in the fourth quarter to help Seattle close out the win, as well as tackle for loss on a running play, giving him 4.5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, 10 total tackles, 6 quarterback hits, 2 passes defensed and a blocked extra point in his past 2 games. I don't know how this works, but if we can nominate Leonard Williams for Player of the Week, he's just playing at an all-time elite level, Seahawks coach Mike Macdonald said after Sunday's game. You know, to have a pick six, I think they told me he was going about 17.5 miles an hour, which was pretty fast for a man that size, so he's playing out of his mind right now. For Williams, this is the third Player of the Week award in his career, having previously won it twice while with the Giants in 2020. He also became the first Seahawks defensive lineman to earn Defensive Player of the Week honors since Jadeveon Clowney in 2019, and the first Seahawks defensive tackle to earn that honor since Cortez Kennedy in 1997. Right now, I think he's playing at a Defensive Player of the Year level, for sure Player of the Month, safety Julian Love said. These past 2 weeks, he's balling. It's just his approach. He takes care of his body off the field. He locks in, and is a great leader during the week. Despite all that's going on, he's so steady, and above all that, he's incredibly talented. And when he takes advantage of a matchup, he senses it from play one, and there's blood in the water for the whole game. And we needed it today. He was a difference maker. Could Seahawks Byron Murphy too answer a problem on offense? The Seattle Seahawks' struggles to run the ball in short yardage situations have been a glaring problem in recent weeks. Brock weighs in on Seahawks' continued short yardage struggles. The Seahawks keep finding themselves in crucial spots where they need to pick up a yard. And with the offensive line struggling to generate movement up front, they keep falling short. Facing a 3rd and 1 in overtime of a Week 9 loss to the Los Angeles Rams, Seattle turned the ball over on down in the red zone after running back Kenneth Walker III was stuffed for no gain on back-to-back runs. Facing a 4th and 1 while trailing in the fourth quarter of a Week 10 win over the San Francisco 49ers, the Seahawks again turned the ball over on downs after running back Zach Charbonnet was stopped for no gain. And while trailing in the third quarter of Sunday's win over the New York Jets, Seattle failed to score despite having 8 consecutive snaps inside the 5-yard line, including 5 snaps from the 1. How can the Seahawks fix their short yardage woes? During Seattle Sports Bump and Stacy on Monday, producer Curtis Rodgers floated an off-the-wall idea. What if they Seahawks used 6-foot, 306-pound rookie defensive tackle Byron Murphy too as a fullback in goal line situations? The idea might not be as crazy as it sounds. Murphy, the number 16 overall pick in April's NFL draft, scored 2 offensive touchdowns for Texas last year as a fullback. He caught a 1-yard TD pass against Wyoming and then plowed into the end zone for a 1-yard TD run during the Longhorns' Sugar Bowl loss to the UW Huskies in the college football playoff semifinal. We're at the point of the season now where it's just kind of like any idea is a good idea when it comes to fixing the Seahawks goal line offense, Rodgers said. I get that NFL defensive lines are a little more stout than college defensive lines, but the Huskies' defensive line last year was really, really good, and Byron Murphy still managed to find his way into the end zone. And there is literally nothing else that is working for the Seahawks in these kinds of situations. Former NFL wide receiver Michael Bumpus is on board with giving the idea a try. "I think everything is on the table at this point," Bumpus said. "I don't think they'll do it, but I think that they should at least explore it because it's frustrating down there. I went back and watched every attempt inside the 5-yard line on Sunday, and there is just no push from the offensive line. With the Seahawks struggling to create a push up front, Bumpus has been clamoring for the team to invest in a true fullback. Seattle doesn't have a fullback on its roster, but recently has been lining up Charbonnet and backup offensive lineman Jalen Sundle at fullback in short yardage situations. Given that he doesn't think the Seahawks will acquire a fullback at this stage of the season, Bumpus thinks it's worth experimenting with Murphy in that role. They have to do something, because what they're not going to do is go out and get a fullback this year, Bumpus said. "I think maybe next year they could, because I'm looking at Seahawks offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb's offense and he's implementing more under center type stuff. He's looking at some de facto fullbacks. We've seen a couple of guys back there. It's a personnel thing, I think. I don't think he's going to do the Byron Murphy thing, but he's got to at least look at that film and scratch his head and think, maybe we try it." Former Seattle Seahawks coach Mike Holmgren named Pro Football Hall of Fame finalist. Sharp was picked as one of 3 finalists in the seniors category for players whose career ended in 1999 or earlier, along with Maxie Baughan and Jim Tyrer. Holmgren was picked as the lone finalist in the coaching category, and Ralph Hay, who helped found the NFL more than a century ago, was the finalist in the contributor category. Between 1 and 3 of these finalists will get voted into the hall. To get the best local news, weather, and sports in Seattle for free, sign up for the daily Fox Seattle newsletter. Download the free Fox Local app for mobile in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store for live Seattle news, top stories, weather updates, and more local and national coverage, plus 24/7 streaming coverage from across the nation. Rodgers tricked into pick by Seattle updated 1 day ago. East Rutherford, New Jersey, how good can Mike McDonald be? Good enough to trick a 41-year-old, 3-time NFL MVP into a game-losing mistake. The Seahawks rookie head coach, 4 years younger than the New York Jets star quarterback, made history for Leonard Williams Sunday. And that made the Seahawks' cold afternoon in the Meadowlands go from disastrous to divine. Earlier this season, McDonald dialed back his multiplicity and disguising within Seattle's defense. That was because his Seahawks were struggling with mere basics, let alone his tricks. The team was in last place beneath the NFC West, giving up acres of yards and bushels of points. Now, with the season in its stretch run, the defensive whiz is showing off the schemes that made Seattle hire the 37-year-old away from the Baltimore Ravens last winter as the NFL's youngest head man. And, presto! The Seahawks, 7-5, are in first place. They've won 3 straight games heading into a showdown rematch with the division rival Arizona Cardinals, 6-6, next weekend in the desert. "We talk about December football, and this is when you want to be playing your best ball," McDonald said after Seattle's largely inexplicable rally 26-21 past the bad New York Jets. "I wouldn't say this is our best game. But we won, and that's all that matters. So it's about stacking those wins. And you got to play a certain brand of ball to win in December. That brand is becoming more McDonald's style of confusing, disguising, and moving defense." Midway through the second quarter Sunday, the lowly Jets, 3-9, had just recovered a fumble on a kickoff return by Seattle's Laviska Shenault. They had the ball inside the Seahawks' 10-yard line. New York already led 21-7. It was 9 yards from seizing a 3-score lead, and maybe the game. On second down, Rodgers was not pressured. He had wide receiver Garrett Wilson free behind cornerback Josh Jobe for a touchdown on the right side of the end zone. But Rodgers, 21 for 39, 185 yards, overthrew Wilson by 2 yards incomplete. On third down, McDonald had Williams move from defensive end to nose tackle, over Jets center Joe Tipman. At the snap, Williams charged 1 step into the line. Rodgers read Williams' pass rushing, so the 20-year veteran who's seen it all read Williams was out of the coverage plan, as usual. Except he wasn't. McDonald's play call this time had Williams dropping into coverage after his feigned charge. Rodgers did not expect a 6'5", 310-pound nose tackle to be in the way of his throw over the middle to Wilson breaking on an en route. That's how McDonald fooled Rodgers on this game's pivotal play. That's pretty much what that drop's meant to be, Williams said after Seattle's comeback when he sparked. Our technique is to rush to touch. So I rush the guard. As soon as I get hands on him, the quarterback thinks I'm coming. Then at the last second I pop out. And the ball just happened to be in arm's reach. Like a volleyballer, Williams tapped the unsuspecting Rodgers' throw from where a linebacker normally covers, straight up in the air, to himself. Williams caught the rebound at the Seahawks' 8-yard line. And he took off running the other way. Took off like he never ran before. He ran like hell, speedy Seahawks cornerback Rick Woolen said, in admiration. Williams got across the field to the Seattle sideline. His teammates were there cheering him on, as no jet showed up to slow him down. When the defensive end they called Big Cat got to midfield, he needed a friend. I didn't expect to get that far, Williams said, smiling. I thought I was running fast, but all my teammates were hyping me out, telling me I was moving on the sideline. And you fans? What did you think of this news? Leave your opinion in the comments.